Hello friends, welcome to our channel. In last video we had designed this layout of our start test activity. In this video we will work on its Java file. We will create questions collection in our database, and then we will fetch this number of questions in a particular test data from the database, and we'll show this to this activity. Okay, so let's start. So go to the start test activity.xml file in Android Studio. Here in this let's give id to these elements one by one. So let's give id to this back button, give it an id start test underscore back button. Okay, then come to the category, then okay, now give an id to this category, start test underscore category name. Okay, then come to this test number, give it an id start test number. Then we need to change this also, this text view, give it an id start test question number, sorry, not question number, total questions. This will signify total questions, total number of questions. Okay, then this is our score, give it an id best score, start test best score. Then this is time, so give it an id start test time, sorry, time. Okay, then this button, okay, we have already given its id, that is start test button. Okay, now come to its Java file, start test.java. So this is its Java file. Here we will create some variables that we want to access. So private text view, category name, test number, total question, best score, time, then okay, now it's okay, then private button, start test button, then private image view, back button. Okay, so these are the variables. Now we will initialize these variables. Let's create a method here init. Then after this create private void init, sorry, init, and this we will initialize these variables, that is category name, is equal to find view by id r dot id dot category name, st category name, then test number, find view by id r dot id dot test number, sorry, not test number, that is then total questions, find view by id r dot id dot total st total questions, then best score, find view by id r dot id dot best score, then time, find view by id r dot id dot time, st underscore time, then start button, find view by id r dot id dot start test button, then we have back button, find view by id r dot id dot back button, sorry, back st underscore back button. Okay, so these are the variable, we have initialized these successfully. Now we will set on click listener to these buttons, back button and start test button. So here on click of this back button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, on click of this button we will finish this activity, that is start test activity dot this dot finish. Okay, we will finish this activity and we will go back to the previous activity automatically. Now after this back button we will set on click listener on this start test button, set on click listener, new on click listener, and here on click of this start test button we will call questions activity. Okay, so intent is equal to new intent, sorry, to this comma questions activity dot class, then we will start this activity intent and we will finish this current activity. Okay, so that when user come back to the previous activity, it should not go to this activity, it should go to the test activity, that is previous of this one. Okay, so we will finish this activity after launching questions activity. Now we will load the questions in this activity and will display the total number of questions in a particular test. Okay, so how we will load this data? First we need to create this data from in the database. So go to the database, go to the Firebase console of our app, and then in this go to this Cloud Firestore. Here is our database. In this quiz collection we have these categories, different categories, and in these categories we have this test list, and in this test list we have this test data, number of tests. So we have two collections, quiz and users. Now here we will start another collection, that is, we'll name it questions. Okay, so we'll start a questions collection, and in this we need documents, that is the questions, different questions that will hold the data of a single question. So each document have a single question data, that is question, the options, and the correct answer, and also the information to which test or category it belongs. Okay, so these are the data that will be stored in this question document, in a single question document. Okay, so we have, like, if we have 10 questions, so we need 10 documents. Okay, all are under this questions collection. Okay, so, and the ID of these documents is auto generated, so click on this auto ID. So this is our first question, and the fields in this document are question. So our question is a type of string. Let's say question is 2 plus 2 plus 3 is equal to, let's say this is our question, and fields, and then the options, like A, first option, let's say 5, and its type also string. Then option B, let's say 6, then C, let's say 4, and the last option D, and let's say its value is 3. Okay, so these are our 4 options, A, B, C, D. Okay, and then we need a field for correct answer. So what is the correct answer? A, B, C, or D. So let's change it to a number for easy computation. We can also keep it as a string, and we will store this A, B, C, or D. Okay, for easy calculation we will change it to the number and store 1, 2, 3, 4. If 2 is the right answer, B is the right answer, then we will store 2. If C is the right answer, then we will store 3, and if D is the right answer, we will store 4. Like here we have A is the right answer, so we will store here 1. Okay, so this is the answer, correct answer. Then we need information to which test or category it belongs. Okay, so we need two more fields. One is for category, the category name to which it belongs, and the test, and the test number in that category to which it belongs. Okay, so these will hold the category name, category ID, and test ID. Okay, so we'll fill this data later. Now save this, click on save. So this is our first question. This is our questions collection, and in this collection we have this one question. In this we have our question and different options and the correct answer and to which it belongs and the test number to which it belongs. So let's say this question is on this category, GK category. So we'll copy this category ID, copy this. Okay, we'll copy this category ID, that is this ID. This are same, so we'll copy this ID and go to the questions. Here go to this question, and here in category we will paste this. Update. So this question belongs to this category ID, that is in quiz this category, okay, in GK category. So this question belongs to this GK category. In GK category we have 4 tests. So in this, these are the data of the 4 tests. So we need to specify to which test it belongs, okay, whether it belongs to test number 1, 2, 3 or 4. Let's say it belongs to test number 1, that is its ID is AAAA, okay. So let's say it belongs to this first test. So change its, go to this questions collection, go to the question. Here we will change the test ID to AAAA, okay. So it will belong to the first test in this GK category. This is the ID of the GK test, GK category, okay. So it belongs to the GK category, and in this GK category it belongs to this first test with this ID, okay. So this is our questions document. Similarly we can create other questions. Add document, auto ID, question is let's say 1 minus 1 is equal to, you can specify any question you want, A, B, C, D, 1, 0, minus 1, 2, okay. Then correct answer and change its type to number, and like B is the correct answer, so you will store here 2, okay. Then we need 2 more fields, one for the category and other for the test. Let's say it also belongs to the same category and same test. So test ID is AAA and category ID, save it. So this is the second document, this is our first document. Copy this category value, copy this, cancel, and then go to this second question and here update this category, okay, update. So now these are the 2 questions. These questions belongs to this GK category and this first test. So these 2 questions belongs to the same category and same test, okay. So similarly you can create any number of questions. So we have created 2 questions. These 2 questions belongs to the GK category and test number 1 in that category. Now we will fetch these questions to the to our app. So go to the Android Studio. Okay, here we have an error. Come here. Okay, we have an error in this. So it is not recognizing this context. So change it to start activity.this. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, then we will fetch these questions. So the questions that we have created in our database. Now go to the dbQuery class. Sorry, this is the dbQuery class. Here we have these functions: create user data, get user data, load categories, load test data, okay. Here we have this G selected category index and the category list, the test list. Now here we want one more variable, that is selected test list, test index, okay. So create one more variable, public static int G underscore selected test index. Initialize it with 0, okay. And let's set this variable in test adapter class. So go to the test adapter.java. Here in this item view dot on click listener, here we will, before launching this question activity, here we will set this variable, that is db query dot selected test index is equal to the index of this test, where we will get the index is equal to, where is the index? So index is in set data. Here position is our index, position is in this set data. So cut it from here, this click listener, Control X, cut this and paste it here. After this, paste it here. Now here we have this position is the index of the click test, that is the like if we have 4 tests, so this will tell which position which test user has clicked. Okay, so in this we have this information, so we'll pass this information here. So this way we have set this selected test index to the position, the number of tests that is clicked by the user. Okay, so and then we are starting this questions activity. Okay, change it this also. From here we will go, not go to the questions activity, from here we will go to the start test activity. Okay, so change it to start test activity. From test activity we will go to this start test activity, and from this activity we will go to the questions activity. Okay, so we have introduced one more activity in between. Okay, so now this seems okay. Go to this db category, db query class. Here create another function, let's say here public static void, and name it load questions. We need a variable that is parameter my complete listener. Okay, now in this we will fetch our questions. Okay, and we'll store these questions in we need a class to store these questions. Okay, so where we will store these questions, let's create a Java file. Right click on this new Java file, Java class, and name it question model. Okay, and then here we will create private variables string. First is a question, that is the question string, then a private string option A. Similarly 4 options we need, so we'll copy this and paste it 3 more times, A, B, C, D. Okay, so option A, option B, option C, option D. Okay, then we will we need an integer for correct answer, private int correct answer. Okay, and then so this is the information that we want from the database, and we will store this in this question model class, list of this question model class. So here we will create its constructor also. So alt insert constructor, select all these Okay, so this is the constructor, and then getters and setters, alt insert. Click on this getters and setters, select all these options, so select these and then click on OK. Okay, so these are the this is the question model class. Close this, go to the DB query. Here we will get the data from the database and store it in a list. Okay, so here we need g_firestore dot collection, and the collection name is questions that we want to access, questions. And here in this questions, from this questions collection, in this question collection we have all the questions of all the categories and all the tests. So we want the questions only for the selected category and selected test. Okay, so here we need to run a query, that is where equal to category, which is equal to the selected index, selected category ID. Okay, this is the category ID, and we need the category that is selected by the user. So where we will get the which category is selected by the user, we will get this information from G category list. G category list dot get, and the index is select G selected category index, then here dot get document ID. Okay, so this is the selected category ID. So we will check if category is equal to this category's ID, and dot where equal to test. Test is equal to the selected test ID, and we'll get this information from G test list dot get selected category selected test index dot get test ID. Okay, so this is the test. If test is equal to this selected test and category is equal to this selected category, then we need to fetch all these questions, all the questions of the collection. Okay, dot get and dot add on success listener, new on success listener, and also dot on failure listener, new on failure listener. Okay, close this, and here if it's a successful, in this on success we have our documents, then we will fetch the data from these documents. We will get all these documents in this query document snapshot, then we will run a loop for query for document snapshot. Document snapshot, that is doc, is in query document snapshots. So we'll get the one by one all the documents in this, that is fetched by this query. We'll get the document one by one, and we will store this, get the information from this document and store it in a list. So we need a list also. So go to the top here, create another list, that is public static list of questions model class, question model, and let's name it G_question list is equal to new array list. Okay, so this is the question list that we need to fill here in load question. Here when the query is successful, we will add the question in this question list. Dot add new question model class. Okay, here we need the information, that is first is the question, so doc dot get string, and key is question, and then doc dot get string, and a, that is the first option, then doc dot get string, b, that is the second option, then doc dot get string, c, that is the third option, then doc dot get string, d, that is the fourth option, and the correct answer is doc dot get long, because it's stored in a long format. Number is a long format, not a integer. Okay, so answer that we have stored in a number format, that is a long, and we'll get its value as an integer, so dot int value. Okay, so this is the information that we want. Now we will store this information in G question list. So this loop will run one by one to all the documents and add this information in this questions list. Okay, so this is the information. Then after this loop, here we will call complete listener dot on success, and then if it's a failure query, then we will call complete listener dot on failure. Okay, now we will call this function, load question function. Copy this, we will call this function from the start test activity.java. Go to the start test activity.java. Here after init, we will call this function load questions. It needs an argument that is new my complete listener, alt enter, new my complete listener. Okay, here now we have these two methods, on success and on failure. Okay, so if it's a successful query here, then we'll come here and we'll call here a method that is set data, and we'll create this function here in last. After this init, here private void set data, and in this set data we'll set the variables. That is, our first variable is category name dot set text, and we'll set this text as a category name, that is selected category name. So we'll get this information from category list dot get selected category, where is selected in db query, dot g underscore selected category index dot get name. So this is the category name, and we will display this name in this category name. Then in another text view, that is test number, that will display the test number dot set text. Here we will display test space number, and after this we need the test number that is selected by the user. So which test number is selected by the user, we have this information in our G selected test index. So we'll display its value, string dot value of db query dot G underscore selected test index this index is started from 1 and we need to add started from 0. Okay, so we will add 1 to it because it starts from 0 and we need to display from 1. Like if it's a 0th index, we will display test number 1. Okay, so we will add 1 to it. Okay, so this is the test number. Then we will update total questions dot set text, and the total number of questions. We have all the questions in our questions list, so we'll display its size, that is the question number, total number of questions. Okay, so string dot value of the size of this db query dot underscore questions list dot size, which will give the total number of questions. Then we will display best score dot set text, and best score is in our string dot value of in our test list. So g test list, db query dot test list dot get selected test index, db query dot selected test index dot here dot get top score. Okay, so this is the score. We will set its value to the best score. Okay, then we'll display, we'll update time dot set text, then we'll display time string dot value of db query dot g test list dot get db query dot test index, selected test index dot get time, dot get time. Okay, so now we have updated all the variables, that is category name, test number, total questions, best score and time. So it will update all the variables after getting the questions from the database. In on success we are setting data, and in on failure we will display some logs to the user. So because it's a time taking process, we need to display some progress dialog to the user. Okay, so go to the test activity, here we have this dialog. Okay, here we have this, copy this progress dialog, Control C, and go to the start test activity here, paste it after init, here paste this. Okay, and then again go to the test activity, copy this progress dialog, private this, copy this, start a test activity, here paste, then dialog text, also start activity, test activity, dialog text, copy this, start test, paste. Okay, now we have this dialog. We will show this dialog on the loading of this activity. Then it will fetch the questions, and after getting the result we will set the data, and then we will call progress dialog dot dismiss. Okay, and if it's a failure, then also we will dismiss and display some text. Go to the test activity, and here copy this, this. Here we will dismiss the progress dialog and we will display something went wrong, please try again. Also change this test activity to start test activity. Okay, so this way we will load the questions and get the questions from the database and will display these questions. So we have some error. Okay, in this progress dialog here, in place of this, change it to start test activity. And one more error here, where in this, here we need one bracket, we have missed this. Okay, so now it seems fine, it should work. Okay, let's run it. Okay, and then go to the GK category, because we have our 2 questions in this GK category. Click on this. Here we have 4 tests in GK category, so go to the test number 1. Here it will display the GK category. This is the GK category and this is the test number 1, and it is displaying total number of questions. We have 2 questions in this GK category. In this test number 1 we have 2 questions and its best score is 0 and its time is 25, that is test time. So its test time is 25 minutes and questions, we have 2 questions, and this is our start button. After clicking on this start button, it will launch this questions activity. Okay, back, so click on this test. Okay, so it will display the questions. Okay, here something went wrong, it is displaying 4 questions. Now it should display 2 questions. Okay, so what we have missed is every time this activity loads, it will fetch the question and store it in questions list. So we forgot to clear the questions list. So go to the DB query. Here in load questions, here in initially we will clear this questions list, g questions list dot clear. So we'll clear this questions list before loading the questions to this list. Okay, every time we will clear first clear this, then we will load the questions and add it to the list. Okay, so now it should work fine. Okay, click on this GK category, test number 1, it is displaying 2. Back, again click on this, it is also displaying 2 this time also. Okay, so and check this also, this is our back button. Click on this, it is going back. Okay, so it is also working fine. Now this is our questions information, and if we click on this start button, it is displaying our questions activity. Okay, so in next video we will complete this questions activity. So that's it from this video, guys. If you like this video, please press the like button and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you.